In a world that never stops moving, where speed and productivity are often mistaken for progress, we find ourselves constantly caught in the whirlwind of life. The endless notifications, the tasks we must accomplish, and the noise of the outside world surround us, leaving us feeling restless, overwhelmed, and disconnected from ourselves. But what if I told you that the key to tranquility lies not in doing more, but in doing less? Not in running faster, but in being still. The Stoics knew that the power of stillness is one of the most essential tools for achieving inner peace and tranquility. To be still is not to be inactive, but to be present. It is to cultivate the calm within that allows us to face the storms of life with grace and clarity. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, wrote, "Nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions, than your own soul." The Stoics teach us that true tranquility comes from mastering the art of stillness. In this exploration, we will uncover the wisdom of stillness according to the Stoic tradition. Together, we will learn how to embrace stillness in our daily lives, and how it can transform the way we approach the world, our emotions, and ourselves. 1. Stillness as the gateway to clarity. The first and most profound benefit of stillness is that it brings clarity. In the silence of stillness, the noise of the outside world fades away, and we are left with ourselves. This can be unsettling at first, as we are often conditioned to avoid being alone with our thoughts. But it is only in stillness that we can truly see the state of our minds, free from distractions. Marcus Aurelius understood the power of this reflection. He wrote, "People look for retreats for themselves, in the country, by the coast, or in the hills. There is nowhere that a person can find a more peaceful and trouble-free retreat than in his own mind. This internal retreat, this stillness, is the foundation of self-mastery. When we are still, we can observe our thoughts, our emotions, and our desires without being overwhelmed by them. In a world full of distractions, clarity is a rare and valuable gift. Through stillness, we learn to see things as they truly are, not as our emotions and distractions make them seem. We gain the ability to step back, to observe, and to choose our responses with intention and wisdom. Actionable practice. Begin each day with a moment of stillness. Find a quiet place, free of distractions, and simply sit in silence. As thoughts arise, observe them without judgment, letting them pass like clouds in the sky. In this stillness, you will find clarity. 2. The courage to face yourself in stillness. Stillness requires courage. It requires us to confront our thoughts, our emotions, and our inner turmoil without the distractions that we so often use to avoid them. In stillness, we are forced to look within and ask ourselves difficult questions. Am I living in alignment with my values? What fears or desires are driving my actions? Where have I allowed external events to disturb my inner peace? Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, wrote, "No man was ever wise by chance." Wisdom, according to the Stoics, is something that we must actively cultivate, and this cultivation begins in stillness. It is in moments of quiet reflection that we gain insight into our behaviors, our motivations, and our desires. It is where we begin the process of self-mastery. However, many of us fear stillness because it forces us to confront the parts of ourselves we would rather ignore, the doubts, the insecurities, the emotions we suppress. But it is only through facing these inner demons that we can overcome them. Stillness offers us the opportunity to do just that. Actionable practice. Set aside time each week for deeper reflection. In the stillness, ask yourself, where am I allowing fear, anger, or insecurity to control my life? What can I do to face these emotions head-on? By confronting your inner challenges in stillness, you develop the courage to overcome them. 3. Letting go of control in stillness. One of the most difficult lessons to learn is the art of letting go. We live in a world where control is prized. We are taught to control our environment, our circumstances, and even the people around us. But the Stoics remind us that much of what we try to control is, in reality, beyond our influence. Stillness teaches us the power of surrender, the peace that comes from accepting what is outside our control. Epictetus famously said, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not." In stillness, we gain the perspective to recognize what is truly within our control: our thoughts, our actions, our responses. Everything else, other people's opinions, the outcomes of our efforts, the events of the world, are beyond our reach. When we embrace this truth, we release the constant tension and anxiety that comes from trying to control the uncontrollable. Stillness is not about giving up. It is about letting go of the illusion of control. It is about accepting what is and focusing our energy on what truly matters. In this acceptance, we find freedom. Actionable practice. During your stillness practice, reflect on what you are currently trying to control. Ask yourself, is this truly within my power? If not, consciously release it. Focus instead on what you can control, your thoughts and actions in the present moment. 4. Finding strength in solitude. The Stoics believe that solitude is essential for personal growth. In stillness and solitude, we find the space to reflect, to grow, and to connect with our inner strength. Seneca wrote, "We are always more afraid than we wish, and we wish we had more control." In solitude, we learn that we do not need to be afraid of being alone. Rather, it is in solitude that we cultivate the inner strength necessary to face the world. Many people fear solitude because they associate it with loneliness, but the Stoics understood that solitude and loneliness are not the same. Loneliness is a state of mind, a feeling of being disconnected from others. Solitude, on the other hand, is a deliberate choice to be with oneself, to reflect, and to recharge. In solitude, we find the space to listen to our own thoughts, to reconnect with our inner selves, and to cultivate the strength to face life's challenges. When we embrace solitude, we no longer fear being alone. Instead, we see it as an opportunity for growth and self-reflection. In solitude, we find our strength. Actionable practice. Dedicate time each week to solitude. Whether it's a walk in nature, a quiet moment at home, or simply sitting in silence, use this time to reconnect with yourself. In solitude, ask yourself, what strength can I draw from within to face the challenges ahead? 5. Cultivating patience through stillness. In a world that prizes speed and instant gratification, patience is a rare virtue. We are constantly rushing from one task to the next, expecting immediate results and quick fixes. But the Stoics understood that true progress, whether in life, in personal growth, or in relationships, requires patience. And patience is cultivated in stillness. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Time is like a river made up of the events which happen, and a violent stream. For as soon as a thing has been seen, it is carried away, and another comes in its place, and this will be carried away too." The Stoics believed that life unfolds in its own time, and that rushing through life not only creates stress, but also prevents us from fully experiencing the present moment. Stillness teaches us to slow down, to be patient with ourselves and with others. In stillness, we learn to embrace the natural flow of life rather than constantly pushing against it. We come to understand that true progress takes time, and that by cultivating patience, we can approach life with greater calm and clarity. Actionable practice. In your stillness practice, focus on cultivating patience. When you feel the urge to rush or to demand immediate results, pause and remind yourself that growth and progress take time. Breathe deeply and allow yourself to move through life at a slower, more deliberate pace. 6. Stillness as a path to emotional mastery. Emotions are powerful forces that can either guide us or overwhelm us. The Stoics believe that emotional mastery, specifically the ability to respond to emotions rather than react to them, is a key component of living a tranquil life. Stillness is the path to this mastery. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In stillness, we gain the space to observe our emotions without being consumed by them. We learn to detach from the immediate intensity of emotions like anger, fear, or frustration, and to see them for what they truly are, temporary states that do not define us. Stillness allows us to step back from the emotional storms that arise in our lives. It gives us the time and space to choose our responses rather than being swept away by the intensity of the moment. In this way, stillness becomes the foundation of emotional mastery. Actionable practice. When you find yourself overwhelmed by emotions, take a moment of stillness. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and observe the emotion without judgment. Ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to teach me? How can I respond to it with wisdom and calm? In this stillness, you will find the power to master your emotions. 7. Practicing mindfulness in stillness. Mindfulness, the practice of being fully present in the moment, is a key component of Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believe that much of our suffering comes from living either in the past or in the future rather than in the present moment. Stillness is the gateway to mindfulness, the path to fully experiencing life as it unfolds. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." This simple yet profound advice is a reminder that true tranquility comes from being fully present in the here and now. When we practice mindfulness and stillness, we learn to experience life without the distractions of regret or anxiety. We come to appreciate the beauty and simplicity of each moment, no matter how ordinary it may seem. In stillness, we can practice mindfulness by focusing on our breath, by observing the sensations of our body, or by simply being aware of our surroundings. In this way, stillness becomes a practice of deep presence, a way of grounding ourselves in the present moment and finding peace within it. Actionable practice. During your stillness practice, focus on mindfulness. Pay attention to your breath, the sensations in your body, and the sounds around you. When your mind wanders, gently bring it back to the present moment. In this practice of mindfulness, you will find the tranquility you seek. 8. The importance of rest in stillness. In a culture that glorifies busyness, rest is often seen as a weakness, a sign of laziness. But the Stoics understood that rest is essential for both physical and mental well-being. Stillness offers us the opportunity to rest, not just our bodies but our minds and souls as well. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Much of the stress and exhaustion we experience is self-inflicted, the result of constant mental activity and worry. Stillness allows us to step away from this mental busyness and to rest in a place of calm and peace. Rest is not an indulgence, it is a necessity. When we allow ourselves to rest in stillness, we recharge our energy, our creativity, and our resilience. We become better equipped to face the challenges of life with clarity and strength. Actionable practice. Incorporate moments of rest into your stillness practice. Allow yourself to simply be, without the need to do anything or achieve anything. In this rest, you will find renewal and peace. Conclusion: the power of stillness. Stillness is not a luxury reserved for the few. It is a necessity for all of us who seek peace, clarity, and self-mastery. In a world that moves at an ever-increasing pace, stillness offers us the chance to slow down, to reflect, and to reconnect with ourselves. The Stoics understood that true tranquility is found not in external circumstances, but in the calm we cultivate within. Through the practice of stillness, we can learn to let go of control, to master our emotions, and to find peace in the present moment. Stillness is the foundation of a tranquil life, a life lived with purpose, clarity, and strength. Together we walk the path of stillness. Together we find tranquility within ourselves. If the message of stillness and tranquility resonates with you, take a moment to like, subscribe, and share this video. Join us in the journey towards self-mastery and inner peace, and let's continue to grow stronger, calmer, and more resilient every day.